Your dog is lying on the floor. You walk past. They lift their head. They watch you cross the room. And for a fraction of a second before you sit down on the couch, something in their body shifts. Not fear, not love. Something quieter than both. Recalibration. Your dog is updating a number they keep on you. A number that decides whether they breathe out when you enter a room or hold their breath until you've passed. That number is trust, and it doesn't break in one moment. It breaks the way a rope frays, one thread at a time, until one day your dog stops greeting you at the door, stops following you to the kitchen, stops sleeping in the same room. And you tell yourself they're getting older. They're not. They stopped trusting you. 6 months ago, you missed it. There are 5 moments where it happens. Almost every owner has caused at least 3 of them, and none of them look like what you'd expect. Let's go through all 5. You come home. There's a puddle on the floor, a chewed shoe, a trash can on its side. You find your dog. You point, you raise your voice. Bad dog. Look what you did. Your dog lowers their head. Their ears go back. Their tail tucks. Their body curls inward. You think they're sorry. They're not. They have no idea what just happened. Alexandra Horowitz at Barnard College, Columbia University, ran the experiment that settled this in 2009. She told one group of owners their dog had misbehaved while they were out. She told the other group the dog had been perfect. Then she filmed the reunions. Here's the punch. It didn't matter whether the dog had actually done anything wrong. What predicted the guilty look, the lowered head, the averted eyes, the slinking body, was one variable. Whether the owner scolded the dog wasn't responding to guilt. The dog was responding to your voice. What you read as remorse is a primate-shaped story you're projecting onto an appeasement signal. The dog is saying, please stop, not I'm sorry. And here's the part that cuts. Dogs cannot connect a punishment to a behavior that happened more than 2 seconds ago. 2 seconds. After that window, the punishment isn't linked to the trash can. It's linked to you. You walking in the door. You finding them. You. Standing over them. Every time you scold a dog for something they did an hour ago, you're not teaching them not to do it. You're teaching them that your arrival is unsafe. You are training the trust out of your own dog. This one is the most common, and it's the one that does the most damage. Your dog is across the yard. They found something disgusting, a dead bird, a pile of something they shouldn't eat. You call. Come here now. They come. You grab them. You scold them. You drag them inside. You just taught them that coming when called ends in punishment. The behavioral term for this is recall poisoning. It's documented in every training manual published in the last 40 years. The dog's brain runs a simple equation. What happened the last time I responded to that word? If the answer is something bad, the response weakens. If it keeps happening, the response disappears. But the real damage isn't the disobedience. A 2014 study from the University of Bristol followed 192 dogs across multiple training contexts. Dogs that were punished after responding to a recall showed elevated cortisol 3 hours later. Not for 3 minutes, 3 hours. Their stress system stayed activated long after you'd moved on. And inside that elevated baseline, the dog learns a second thing. Not just the word means trap, but the person who said the word is the trap. The next time you call them and they hesitate, that pause, where they look at you and then look at the thing in their mouth and then look at you again, that's not stubbornness. That's a cost-benefit calculation. They are deciding whether you are safe to approach. You lost trust the moment you punished the right answer. A dog never bites out of nowhere. The phrase out of nowhere doesn't exist in dog behavior. It only exists in human attention. Before any bite, before any growl, before any visible aggression, dogs run through a ladder of signals. Turid Rugaas, the Norwegian behaviorist who cataloged them in the 90s, identified more than 30. She called them calming signals. Most people have heard of 3. The yawn that isn't tiredness, the lip lick when there's no food, The slow head turn away from the thing causing stress. Then the ladder climbs. A whale eye. The whites showing on one side. A frozen body. A low groan. A stiff approach. A lifted lip. By the time a dog growls, they have already given you between 5 and 15 warnings. A 2017 study from Mariti at the University of Pisa documented the sequence in 70 family dogs across normal household interactions. The signals were present in 96% of stressful encounters. The owners noticed them in 4% of cases. Read that ratio again. Almost every dog is telling you. Almost no owner is listening. What happens to the dog whose signals nobody reads? Their trust isn't broken by a single event. It's broken by the daily evidence that warnings don't work. The yawn doesn't make you let go. The lip lick doesn't make you stop kissing. The head turn doesn't make the toddler back off. So the dog escalates. And then one day, a child reaches for the food bowl and the dog snaps. And you tell the vet it happened out of nowhere. It didn't. You just stopped being someone who could read them. And the dog stopped being someone who believed you would. This one wears a friendly disguise. It looks like socialization. It looks like training. It looks like being a good owner. Your dog is afraid of something, the vacuum, a man with a beard, the car, children in costumes. You decide they need to face it. You hold them in place, you push them closer, you insist. It's fine, you're being silly, stop. The dog stops moving. Their body goes slack. Their eyes glaze slightly. You exhale, relieved. They got over it. They didn't get over it. They shut down. In the 1960s, Martin Seligman at the University of Pennsylvania ran the experiments that would name this. He called it learned helplessness. An animal exposed to a stressor it cannot escape eventually stops trying to escape. Not because the stress went away, because the brain ran out of options and turned the engine off. In 2016, Seligman revised the theory and said something important. Passivity isn't something animals learn. Passivity is the brain's default under prolonged, inescapable stress. What has to be actively built, actively every day, is the belief that behavior changes outcomes. When you force your dog through fear instead of guiding them past it, you're not teaching courage. You are teaching them that their distress signals don't work on you, that trying to leave doesn't work, that looking to you for help doesn't work. The fallout shows up in two ways. Either the dog becomes flat, the expressive, curious animal you used to know becomes a dog who endures. Or one day, in a situation that finally exceeds their threshold, they bite. Because the warning stopped working, so the only option left is the only one you never tried to take away. A dog who has been forced through fear too many times doesn't lose trust in the vacuum. They lose trust in you to be the one who keeps them safe. This is the one nobody talks about, and it's the one that erodes trust most slowly and most permanently. Your dog doesn't need much from you. 3 meals a day at roughly the same hours. A walk where the leash doesn't yank. A reaction that matches what they did. A morning where you don't yell because of something that happened at work. That's it. Predictability is trust in dogs. In 2019, Ann-Sophie Sundman and her team at Linköping University in Sweden measured long-term cortisol levels in 58 dog owner pairs. Not the cortisol spike of a single bad day. The hormonal accumulation captured in hair samples over months. The dog and owner numbers were synchronized. A stressed owner had a stressed dog. The dog's nervous system had been mirroring the human's nervous system every day for so long that their baseline cortisol had merged. Your dog isn't just reading you, they are calibrated against you. Your breathing, your tone, the rhythm of the door opening and closing, the predictability of when food comes and when affection comes, and when discipline comes. When all of that becomes unpredictable, because you're stressed, because life shifted, because today you laughed when they jumped on you, and tomorrow you yelled. Your dog stops being able to model what comes next. A dog who cannot predict, you cannot rest in your presence. The trust isn't broken by cruelty, it's broken by inconsistency. And the saddest part is that the dog doesn't blame you, they just stop expecting safety from you. And one day you notice they don't follow you to the kitchen anymore. They lift their head when you walk in. They watch you cross the room. And they do not breathe out. That's the moment. Trust loss in dogs doesn't look like running away. It looks like a slightly slower greeting at the door. A second of hesitation before they take a treat from your hand. The moment they choose the other room. The way their eyes track you across the kitchen without their head turning. The yawn when you pick them up. The lip lick when you put on their leash. It looks like a dog who is still a great dog, who still loves you, who would still die for you, but who has updated the number. Stanley Coren, emeritus professor of psychology at the University of British Columbia, once said that dogs forgive almost everything except unpredictability. They forgive pain. They forgive mistakes. They forgive bad days. They do not forgive a person who cannot be modeled. A dog who has lost trust isn't an angry dog. A dog who has lost trust is a quiet dog. And almost every owner mistakes the quiet for peace. Here's the only good news in this video. Dogs are biologically wired to rebuild attachment. Takafumi Kikusui and the team at Azabu University in Japan, publishing in the journal Science in 2015, showed that the bonding hormone oxytocin activates within minutes of soft, sustained eye contact. Not the staring contest kind, the slow blink kind. Trust is not rebuilt with apologies. Dogs don't understand apologies. Trust is rebuilt with 3 things in this order: predictability, consent, repetition. Predictability means tomorrow looks like today. The same tone when they greet you, the same hour when food arrives, the same body language when you put on their leash. Consent means you let them choose to come to you instead of reaching for them. Crouch sideways, hand low. Wait. If they lean in, you have it. If they don't, you don't. Repetition means 100 small, unscripted moments of safety, not a grand gesture. A dog doesn't need a grand gesture. A dog needs to walk past you 1,000 times and never once have anything bad happen. That's how the rope is rewoven, thread by thread, slower than it broke. But it can be done. So the next time you walk into a room and your dog lifts their head and watches you cross it, notice what their body does. If their breathing softens, you still have it. If they freeze for half a second before relaxing, you have a thread to repair. If they don't move at all, pay attention. Something has been quietly breaking, and you've been calling it calm. The relationship that took 15,000 years to evolve, that lives in your home, that loves you in a way no other species can love a human, that relationship has a number on you. And you are the one writing it every day, whether you mean to or not. Your dog is not waiting for love. They have always loved you. They are waiting for safety. And safety is something you choose to be, one ordinary moment at a time. If this changed how you see your dog tonight, subscribe to Fur Logic and drop a comment. Which of these 5 moments hit you the hardest? I want to know. Be honest. Next video. What your dog is actually doing in the 30 seconds before you walk out the front door. Hidden camera footage from real homes. Almost nobody talks about what happens in those 30 seconds.